So in that context, what has been mentioned here in the IFSD side, I think the two real action points. One is we have given, as I mentioned in the earlier session, we have buried CSD inception for the high-level political forum happen in Rio. Hopefully the birth will take place in September in the 67th session of the General Assembly. How it is going to be placed under ECOSOC and what changes will take place in ECOSOC to include the environment dimension for the integration and coherence across the UN system. Second is the strengthening of UNEP that has already been mentioned. I think universal membership is new in terms of strengthening, a lot of reconfirmation of existing mandates, but something challenging to me, I think, is the wording on financing. End of the day, institutions like UNEP have enough mandates. What is lacking is the resources. The reconfirmation in terms of mandates of strengthening headquarters in Nairobi, the regional presence, all of this requires resources. And if we look at the resource paragraph, I would submit that this is actually weaker than what we have. What we have coming out of Cartagena, which took 2 years to negotiate, was voluntary, assessed voluntary contribution. What we have now is only voluntary contribution. In reality, what this translates to, and I was assisting with the resource mobilization in Nairobi, when it is assessed voluntary contribution, you put the UN contribution against each country and you put a figure there. For example, as an example, Japan, $9 million. Due to peer pressure, all countries more or less give that. Now, without the assessed and only voluntary, it becomes purely voluntary. Whereas universal membership, strengthening of Nairobi, strengthening of the region, all means increased expenditure or increased. But when the income side comes, it does not look so. So this is a challenge, I think, that we need to look at for UNEP. Now, on the regional side, I think future direction, what should this region do? I think the next session of the General Assembly, the 67th session coming September, will be extremely important. I think all the translations of the outcome document from Rio +20 will be translated into decisions at the GA, and that's when it'll come into force. So the language that goes into that would be very important. I think all of us here must make a contribution to assist our negotiators in New York to ensure that the right language goes in. Otherwise, once the language is not there, then we've a lot of difficulties. If we look at the regional dimension, regional mechanisms, at the regional level, Mr. Chung mentioned this earlier in his presentation. I think we need a coherent process, and we don't have it yet in this region, and also maybe in other regions too. As you mentioned, the regional commission is social and economic. The environment is lacking. We need to integrate that. In previous occasions, a coalition between the bank, ESCAP as the regional commission, UNDP, and UNEP have worked well, I think, to bring these institutions together to address sustainable development in a coherent way in the region. This region is unique. It has 5 political economic groupings, 5 sub-regions. In Central Asia, we have the Interstate Commission on Sustainable Development. ASEAN was mentioned by Mark. We have the SARC in South Asia and SPREP and Forum in the South Pacific. Now, I think they have the environment dimension, and the environment, economic, and social ministries meet separately. I think we can assist to bring this together so that at the sub-regional level, and then link these, which is not yet recognized in the UN system. For example, ASEAN is not recognized. We need to somehow bring the sub-regional entities that have more political capital as well as resources into the regional mechanisms. At the national level, I think Simon addressed this, the strategies for sustainable development and the committees for sustainable development, reporting to the head of government, having the planning agencies as the secretariat, full participation of the civil society organizations, and using the modern internet and the social media for public interface. So strategies for sustainable development, again, Simon mentioned this, this is more a vision for 30, 50, 80 years, but that needs to be translated into the national development plans, which is more a political cycle of 3 to 5 years, so that linking the two together. Again, I would submit that in this region, compared to the other, sitting in New York, I've had a chance to also look at the other regions. Asia Pacific is at an advantage. The philosophical base is there. The action examples are there. In terms of the philosophical base, the gross national happiness of Bhutan is globally known. China's circular economy, here you have the low carbon society and the sufficiency economy mentioned by Dr. Montep. This is all there in terms of what could be the philosophy behind. In terms of action and examples, I think we have 30 countries that have their strategies of sustainable development. No other region has such a high rate. We have 5 sub-regional, again, strategies, examples from Korea and Thailand we just heard. Other examples that are quoted at the global level is Samoa, Bhutan, and Kazakhstan. So this region, I think, has the opportunity, must lead by example, not only to sit back and say the 21st century belongs to Asia. We have to follow up with some action. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvester, for your valuable comment, and this is very valuable for further discussion. Now, I would like to open the floor to take a couple of questions quickly and ask the panelists to respond. I noticed one person, and the other two. I close these three questions. So please, over there, please.
Hello, my name is Yuki. I'm an intern at the UNU-IAS. Well, we have talked a lot about countries with scarce resources dealing with sustainable development after Rio +20, but my question is about, can we, as external forces, can convince some of the authoritarian regimes to conduct a green economy like policy, especially one with abundant resources like Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Volker, please.
My name is Volker Mauerhofer. I'm from United Nations University Institute of Advanced Studies. I have one comment and one recommendation to the presentation of Simon Olson. Yeah, you had a slide there with cost-benefit analysis in connection with assessing trade-offs between environmental, social, and economic aspects in connection with the national sustainability strategies. And cost-benefit analysis are monetary methods. So it's a monetary method where you try to bring down everything to an economic monetary value. And I would perhaps recommend to extend it to non-monetary valuation methods also, so monetary and non-monetary valuation methods, because some values you don't get with the monetary valuation methods. So perhaps extend the methodology which you propose in this point a little bit, and then it might work better perhaps. Thank you.